welcome to the Almost a Conversation podcast. Big Zoo, thank you for coming on.
Big man
Um,
for having me.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I just wanted to say, firstly, big fan of yourself as not just as a musician, as a grime MC. I remember listening to you from like Radar Radio days.
Hmm.
That's where like I first came across from you. But I think you also had personality outside of that to be a brand that like transcends music. And now that is coming to fruition with everything that you're doing outside of music. So the first question, did you always see yourself as being bigger than a MC or like a whole brand outside of that?
No, I definitely didn't. I was just emceeing on radio, like you said, and
Mm.
um, I was at Radar before infamously closed, and I used to like have they used to have decks where man could practice
Mm.
because the rooms kind of changed. They kind of elevated
Yeah, yeah.
in the time that I was there. It went from being in one room to a whole building. So um when I first used to go there, they used to have a one little practice room, and I was just trying to sharpen my tools. I was just trying to like get into my bag more. So I used to just bring grind beats on a USB
Yeah.
and just put them on, practice DJing and spit bars. And I kind of like I grew up in West. I didn't grow up in
Mm,
East
mm,
London
mm,
where
mm, mm.
grime was very prominent. Like, don't get me wrong, we loved grime in West, but it like I weren't going youth club and it was radio and
Yeah,
there was decks. It wasn't like that in my hood. It was
yeah,
definitely not
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's more about rap and that. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
and I was never musical growing up. So that was kind of a place for me to kind of get into a new space than just being an MC. I started becoming a DJ. And
Yeah,
then I had my
yeah,
own
yeah.
show at Radar. And then I was playing with the social media, having fun on Snapchat. And that's where things just started building from there. I started seeing that I could be something bigger
Okay.
than what I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So Snapchat was the thing that really put you on as more of a personality then?
Yeah, Snapchat definitely was the main release. I feel like that's what created the brand, the Joint Show. Like I just kept saying
Okay.
joints on Snapchat because my boy just kept saying joints. He was like, "Yo, what is it? A food joint? Is it a this joint?" He just
Yeah.
put joints on the end of every word, and I kept saying it, and then I kept on like cooking on my snap and saying,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah.
look at these joints, food joints." Da, 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 da. And then
Yeah.
I made a thing called the robe gang, where I used to wake up, put my robe on,
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
shower, and then play my favorite song in the bathroom in my robe and sing it to the camera.
Yeah,
And I
hard.
used to be like, robe gang, send me your snaps. And then you would send me videos of them and they are like, yo, da, 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 da. Like, but obviously the main process to make them listen to my music.
Of course, of course, of
Like,
course.
and it was just ways to do promotion and connect with fans. People can message you, and that was like for me, that was my main stomping ground for creating that
Yeah, yeah.
core engagement with my audience. Because people went from talking to me on Snap to calling me on the Joint Show,
Yeah.
and then obviously Radar closed. Then I went on to One Extra,
Uh-huh.
and then kept going there. Then I started doing more little presenter bits, which eventually, and then from the food we got a cooking show. It's mad
Yeah,
when you think
yeah.
back here, but that's the root of everything.
No, fully, man. I was talking to someone the other day and they said that one thing you have to do is turn your habits into a science, isn't it? So
Yeah,
like with what you're doing with like you said, you just did the snap and it was just robe gun because you was in your robe and you were just blah blah
yeah.
blah. What you did, which was so great, you turned it into a whole form of like an interaction and a whole brand and a whole thing that's outside of just your music, isn't it? But like
Exactly.
you get me? So it's not a surprise that you've gone on to have the Dave show and it's not also not a surprise that you do it with your brethren as well. Do you know what I mean? You just got a couple
Yeah, man.
guys who you grew up with, because it came from you cooking back in the ends and all the rest of it. So
Exactly.
yeah, like it's proper. I just want to say it's proper important that like, well, actually, I'm going to ask you. To you, is it
Mm.
important that you brought your boys with you and established them in the brand as well and helped them build their thing, or was it all just
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important. I think I've learned along the way that you can't help everybody, and you can't lose focus of what you're doing to help others because if you don't make it, then you can't help people in the way that you want to. I feel like I spent a lot of my career trying to
yeah,
put people on while I was moving forward, not realizing that I'm maybe might not be in a position to be able to make an impact yet.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I need to pattern up my thing. That was one of my close friends told me that. Told me, Zoo, do your thing before you start trying to put all the man them on.
yeah,
And once I kind of harness that, once I realize if I elevate my position, then I'm able to make decisions that can actively help my friends,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I kind of went down a path of just doing my thing. I kind of disconnected from my peers. And I still make music with a couple men around me, but I wasn't as active with around them. I was very focused on my own
Yeah,
works. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then I got to a position where I was offered this show and they wanted to get some influencers in for the pilot. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
boy, why don't we just get my brethren?
No, 100,
And
100.
then like it was just fate. Like they tried to line up some people, it didn't work.
Mm.
My brethren were free. I told them, you know, look, I'm telling a production company that makes television.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you should get my two brethren
yeah, yeah,
from my
100.
secondary school. Them man got no followers on Insta, but it's calm. And they're funny. Like
Fully,
I'm
fully.
telling you, I'm like, it's like me going, yo, brother, listen.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm telling you, they're funny enough.
yeah.
So they
Bro,
had to
that's
just you get me?
God.
They had to invest in the risk in that. And then them man came to the pilot, absolutely smashed it. And it went from there. Like, so it was definitely something that I had to get to that position to be able to make that difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then through that, bringing my brothers was one of the greatest decisions I ever made in my life. You
100%.
know, it's definitely hard because they're your actual good friends. Working with your
You
good
get
friends
me?
is not easy,
Mm.
but I'll rather do it with them than anyone else in the world.
100, 100. That's even like with us with the podcast. So there's me, but then there's like two brethrens in it. Literally, I've known
Yeah.
them about 15, 20 years each. So it's the
Okay.
same, literally the same sort of thing. So when I saw when I saw your show on Dave and you said, "Yeah, these are my two brethren," I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely like a ends mentality or people for our age.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I
I'll
think
put on for your
you
peoples.
get me. You got to put on your
Uh,
brethrens because like, and I was gonna say because one thing you're doing is adding value, like
mm,
without knowing it. But with
mm,
yourself, did you sacrifice sometimes the bag or sacrifice a
mm,
bigger check for, but adding value to you as a brand? Was that something you consciously did, or?
mm. I feel like I'm in a place now where I'm understanding that more. I'm doing a lot of adverts and stuff, and I'm kind of getting to a place where I am saying no to things. When you're on the come up in
Mm,
as an artist in this game, you definitely say yes to a lot because you're scared that you might lose something if you say
mm,
no. I think for me, my main compromise was my style.
yeah,
I definitely had a raw, aggressive grime style, which was gassing up youths in the rave. Like I was
yeah,
definitely going down that road. But
yeah.
I always had this side to me that was conscious, and I love talking about things that were going on in society. And I
Mm,
always used to get mad reactions of that. So even though I'm in the grime rave going blind,
yeah,
I'm on SBTV doing that warm-up session and youths are
100.
respecting it. So
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in a crossroads where I'm like, what do I go down? And I tried to hone in both, but I always leant towards the side of, yeah, I'm going to spray gas and give them that, but
Mm,
also going to talk that real. So then that
yeah.
affects the gas because how much gas can I really say if I'm trying to tell
100%.
man, stop doing the madness? So I kind of came to a point where I took a risk. I took a risk and went down a road where my last two projects, I went from my first EP was Big Who, which was like
Yeah,
a sign I
yeah,
put on
yeah,
SoundCloud. Then I put Big Zoo,
yeah.
and then I put Hold That, two very
Yeah,
grimy
yeah, yeah,
projects. But
proper.
then I flipped it after that. I went to Content with Content, and then I did We Will Walk, two projects that are very conscious. And when I did that, you know, I'm working with like distributors and these people and XYZ and my
Yeah,
management. And it's kind of like we actively chose to go down a way where the music is going to be more conscious and less on the hype.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I made them invest in it and we all invested in it. And, I recouped everything that was invested
100,
into me and I made money from it,
100.
and I never look at numbers. I never ever look at numbers. I'm not a
Mm,
numbers
mm.
man. I just put out stuff and hope that it does well. But like we sat back the other day and I looked back at a couple of my projects and like in terms of streaming numbers, for artists that put that all out independently,
Yeah,
like I did well, bro. Do you get me?
100%, bro.
And it's because I
100%.
believed in my thing. If I said, nah, you know what? Let me just do the straight gas. Let me just go
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
down the lane of just straight gas. Maybe I would have been more successful now. Maybe I would have got more streams. Maybe my music would have done more things. Like I used to have people tell me all the time, why don't you make shit like this? Like why don't you do X, Y,
Mm,
Z? Why
mm,
don't you make
mm.
a Gallon rhythm? Like why don't you make a rhythm about the hood?
Yeah,
Why don't
yeah,
you do
yeah.
the? Do you get it? I used to get told that by my good friends,
100%.
my people around me. Like I remember my mom telling me one time, "Gee, why don't you make it sound a bit more?
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
get me steppy."
Yeah.
And it's like that for me was a really hard transition because you get me, you kind of think, you know what if I do explore with now I'm as an
Uh-huh.
artist, I'm exploring these sounds.
You can do whatever now. You're free. You
but
have
it's not for the
freedom to
bag.
do. Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
get it?
It's for
Whereas
freedom.
before it would have been for a mentality of maybe this will make me more successful,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
what happens to a lot of artists. And guess what? Some of them become mad successful of it. But then some people, they lose their essence, bro.
Exactly, exactly. There's a lot of men that like they get to that point, and then you just see it. Then you can see the bag. Like they might do the feature, and like they don't like the feature, but they're getting peas. So you can't really like that's their strategy. You can't knock man for that. I think with
exactly.
something like yourself, like the impact that you'll leave is more valuable, in my opinion, anyway, because you're showing man.
Thank you, bro.
Even like I went on to your later, not your latest video, the video of Jevon Duppy.
Okay, yeah.
And I saw Ditto. And
Yeah,
I said,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you can buy. I thought Ditto, yeah, he's an independent brother. Like that's him on his
Yeah,
grind.
man.
Do you know what I'm saying? But then I looked a bit more into the cooking show, and I thought, oh, like I know wherever he's going there, he's in the place where he's got the most value there. Do you get me? And the most impact. So with doing that cooking show, did you think of it as like a transcending moment where you'd be doing things outside of music and you're going to have a bigger impact outside of music, or just yeah?
I mean, I had an idea. I think as a musician, and in my process, you have to have foresight in it. You have to kind of guess where things will take you, because that's how you kind of build the next pattern. It's like when you build an album, you're thinking about album number 2.
100.
You know, so people kind of see what we give them. So it's true. Like when I definitely got into cooking, I knew that I'm finna get some adverts. You know, I'm finna get some adverts that wouldn't have shouted me as a musician. I'm finna get some patterns that wouldn't have come from Big Zoo, the grime MC. And don't get me wrong, I did mad things as an artist that I will look back and always say this is crazy. But the level of money that is accessible to a young independent grime artist compared to a young presenter in television, different games. And I weren't ready for that. So when we did that transition, I couldn't believe how much of a difference it was, because I've only been in TV now for over like a year.
Yeah.
I've only been in it for over a year. Like I'm 2 seasons deep. I've been on countless programs. I've done.
Bro, I've seen the
like
people
I've
you've
done.
met, man. You've met.
You know what I'm saying? I've done Soccer AM. I've done I've done Sunday
bagged
Brunch
on Soccer
twice.
AM as well. Done your thing on Soccer
I've
AM.
been little volley still. Do you know what I mean? Like I've done things now, and I've had my appearances, and hope I got more things in the works now. But that's within 1 year of me being in this game. I've done music for 10 years. You know, I've done music for 10 years. But I always know one thing that I've known about it, even though I have transcended into a different game, I know that I'm only here because of what I do in music.
100%.
So I'm never gonna leave music. You know, I'm always gonna try. Like my next single is gonna show people I'm here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's I can't say too much because surprisings, but it's definitely gonna be something that makes people understand. Yo, this brother can do both. And that's my main objective right now. Trying to be in a different lane, but do both. Like I want to be the guy that can do both. You know?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because you got that's your empire there. Do you know what I mean? That's your empire.
Exactly, bro.
If you want to go and do whatever, you can cook with Jimmy Carr and whatever, but you can also make a tune with like Jevon or whoever. Do you know what I'm saying? Or whoever you got next. And
exactly.
The one thing you have is like freedom to do that. Do you get me? So like, do you ever see a point where there's another evolution of yourself?
Like, yeah, definitely. I definitely want to get into directing and producing.
Okay.
Like I've set up a production company.
Hard.
You know, that's the next step. Like I'm trying to pitch programs and that. Like I'm definitely on that game where I'm like, cool, I know how to make a program. Big Zoos, Big Eats, that is based off the man then. That's based off us. But we didn't create the program. Do you understand? So we have ownership to a certain extent, but it's not my program. Like, it's not I'm Big Zoo. I pitched it. I own the whole rights, X, Y, Z. Do you understand? So it's like, now it's about how do I get with it? How do I get into that? Because it's like music. You do music and then you eventually open a label and you try to put music out and you try to help artists put out music. Like I work with an artist called Crafty 893. And that's what I'm doing within music. So like I'm definitely trying to do that already. So I'm seeing the TV game. I'm like, what can we do? So for me, I think my main thing that I want to accomplish within television is definitely not enable racism and be part of the change in terms of diversity. Because if I accept certain roles or I do certain things, I've only understood now that I'm part of the problem. Because if I accept things that are not going to have representation, that are not going to have the man them there, that I'm going to walk in and certain things aren't going to be what are supposed to be happening in our
100%.
society right now, and I let that happen, I'm part of the problem. So the only way I can make that change is by I want to start pitching productions with a black-led crew. I want to
100%.
do things where women are working in jobs that they weren't supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get me? Like, even with Duppy, that video with Jevon is shot by Phenomene.
Come on.
She's a black lady. Do you know what I mean? But like me, myself, I never was vocal or understanding of the fact that all my videos are directed by brothers. Only until I think I've had one more that I was part of. It was a feature of with someone else that was directed by a lady. But apart from that, my own productions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wasn't understanding of that. It's when I've gone into this process now, I'm like, yo,
we need to
make
put
a change, man.
Yeah. Like, I think with that, like, it's proper important that you don't just do it in your words, though, innit? You have to. Now you're in the point. Do you know? It's like you were saying. You can't tell everyone that you're going to bring them whilst you're on the way. You got to get there first.
No, man.
You know what?
Exactly.
Here's your seat, big man. Like, yo, come have a roll with me on my show, or come make a video, or cut and you'll be compensated properly, innit? Like, we'll treat you'll have, and the one thing that you will have is your integrity at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? With everything that you do. So with going into that world, did you ever face any points where you thought, I need to, I don't want that, I need a brother with me, or do you know what I'm saying?
It's tough because I'm new in it. Yeah, I'm new in the establishment, and I'm like a risk. I'm like Dave's risk. I'm like, yeah, okay, you went and got him. Let's see how it does. And it did all right. You know, we got good reactions online. We did well. We didn't make a program that took over the internet or took over the world. But we definitely proved that there is a world where people across the UK can actually take in a young black brother from the hood, cooking Jimmy Carr Dorito fried chicken.
Bang though. Bang.
And it did well, bro. And that's the thing. And we got a season 2, and we've definitely elevated it. Yeah. So it's a hard one, man. For me, it's like I'm new in this place. I don't want to rub people up the wrong way, but I also know that I'm definitely allowed to have my voice and my presence.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I'm in the stage in TV. I'm called talent. Yeah, that's what they call
100.
They just call us the talent. That's what you are. If you're a person that goes on TV, you're called talent, and then the person directing is called a director, and that person's called a producer. The talent, yeah. When them man start getting gassed, it becomes long. You become blackballed in this game. We've seen it happen in America, predominantly with comedians. We've seen it with black comedians. How they have been stigmatized, I guess, in terms of the way that they've tried to battle a system. Yeah. Now I'm over here. I'm 25. I'm a grime MC. Yeah. And I'm doing this TV thing. So what if I start piping up, people are gonna be like, brother, relax. But at the same time, I think I've been given a power by what's going on in the world. You know, we as black people are able to kind of like vocalize our frustrations for things or express our need for change and people may feel like, oh, what are you doing? But at the same time, not be the person in the room that everyone's like, why are you saying that, man? Do you know what I mean? And I'm never gonna lie. When doing Big Eats, you know, the diversity hasn't been as representative as it could have been. I've definitely thought about it. I've definitely spoke about it. Things have moved forward. Season 2, there's definitely been an improvement within myself. I definitely respect the crew and respect what we're doing, but they know that a change needs to come, and
Yeah.
it's within the production companies and the channels who are trying to make the change
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you know, it's a proper, it's like everyone will say it's a sticky one, but I'm in a place where I can't just say that, you know. So for me, I can see the change coming, but I saw an article online about BAME representation in UK productions in terms of writers, talent, directors, and they said it's gone down.
Okay.
In the last year, they said it's gone down compared to the year before.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's kind of like,
wild.
Sorry, my door's, someone bouncing off my door. Oh, my. Yeah, it's a weird one, man. So I feel like the change is coming, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think, do you know what it is? I think like when you're one of the first people doing it, you're going to be the one seeing that and facing that. Do you know what I mean? But one thing that you're doing is you're putting your foot through the door, and after you put your foot through the door, you got to leave it open behind you for the rest of
Exactly,
of us.
and that's what Nasty and Mo the Comedian have done.
100%,
you know,
100%.
them man are definitely not the first black people to have a program on telly. Do you get me? Like, we've been represented,
Yeah, 100.
but not in the greatest forms, especially recently. And the way that them man kind of came through, and you've seen what they've gone on to do. Like, I'm watching Mo in The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you know
with
what I'm saying?
Davina McCall and Rita Ora and them man.
Trust
there.
me.
So it's like, you're a brother that went from doing the rounds and marking it on social media, and you're there. That's like
Proper.
That's like inspiration for me. But like, the conversation about the things that we're talking about, it's something that is developing, and it's very behind the scenes. But people are understanding, yo, what's going on? This ain't right. We need to, you know, like Netflix got a Twitter account called Strong Black Lead.
Yeah.
The thing's called Strong Black Lead.
Mad.
Like, it's mad.
It's mad when you put it like that, isn't it?
That's a mad name. That's a category on Netflix. Strong Black Lead. That's a category on Netflix. So you kind of think like,
it's wild, isn't it? Like, there's only,
it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild, bro.
That's crazy, fam. I can't lie. But you know what's mad, yeah? I'll round it off on this, but you're doing the 2019 wrap up on Gasworks, yeah? And Bridge said at the end, it was something that was mad profound. He said, peace moves quietly, innit?
Yeah.
For real. So
yeah.
You get me? So man just got to make that move quietly and just and eventually it will be us, and they won't even feel like anything. It will just be that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, people
it's
like
true
yourself,
still.
you're busting the doors down and you're cutting through for us. So we appreciate you. Okay? We appreciate you.
My brother.
So thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Come on, bro. Big up. Looking forward to whatever you got coming next, musically and visually.
Come on, man. Album's on
Here
route. Album, and then it's Big Zoo, Big Eats 2.
Here
and then man got a cookbook as well.
Cookbook.
So it's a bit cookbook as well.
I can't lie. I've been catting for the cookbook. I was watching the last couple of days. I said, yeah, I need that.
It's on route. When I say, listen, there's over 100 recipes of pure vibes. It's like, and it's like, man's involved in the whole process. Like, I thought cookbook thing, I'm gonna go through, be like, hey, put my name in the book.
Yeah.
Nah, but
it's your thing.
It's like man's in school. Man's got deadlines and certain amount of words. Wishing I could cheat. Like, I'm trying to get someone to do it for me.
That's mad, bro. Well, homework and that, coursework and that.
It's coming. Album, cookbook, Big Zoo, Big Eats 2. Tubbsy and Hyde are going to be doing more things, trying to get more programs. You might see me in random programs just popping up like, hi. And yeah, more music. Like, I feel like the album's going to show people, rah, how did you make an album? Why you doing all of that? And for me, it's about showing people, if you want to do stuff, just do it, man. Stop worrying. You get me? But yeah,
facts,
my brother.
Big facts. Appreciate what you're doing, my guy. And what you said, you're Sierra Leonean, innit?
Salon, Baba.
Salon. Yeah, I got something for you still. I'm gonna get a sent to you. No, I'm gonna get a sent to you, innit? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I'll get a sent to you.
Salon, look, I got my little bangle here. My little bangle that I always got there. This one's straight from Salon, you know what I'm saying? The powers.
Proper. No, I got you. I'm gonna get you something sent out, so we'll sort that.
All right, say nine.
All right, my guy. Big up, yeah?